Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only, and for those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law, and through this channel I'd like to provide some stock analysis and also a short trading lesson at the end, so please stay tuned. Okay, so before we get started, quick recap of previous video. We looked at the crypto market, we looked at the crypto crash, what are the opportunities, what are the potential for the future, how does it affect our stock, so please refer back to that video for the updates regarding the crypto market. Okay, so today's stock analysis is for ticker symbol ABML American Battery Metals. This is a stock that we have featured a number of times on this channel. This is a stock that I've been personally holding since 30 cents. And what we saw yesterday, there was a catalyst, there was some breaking news which we're going to cover shortly, but let's have a look at the chart. We can see close of play at time of filming yesterday, this closed up in excess of $1.76, so just at $1.76. this was up in excess of 16%. So we can see, if we look at the 1 year chart here, just prior to December 2020, this was the good opportunity to enter this play, where momentum was just starting to go up, and then we can see on a high January 25th 2021, that's when it reached the peak of $4.08. However, there has been significant consolidation downwards there. I think if you look at the recent 3-month low just above $1, I think that was tremendous buying opportunity. Anything close to $1 would really have been a steal for this stock. The only thing I would be surprised about would be if anybody sold at $1. So that would be a decision that I'm sure people will regret, considering the momentum I believe that is going to happen for this stock going forward, the momentum that's already started. If we have a look at the recovery now, from that close to $1, it's gone from close to $1 just a few weeks ago to $1.76. So there are a number more catalysts coming up, so let's start with the first one. Okay, so let's start with an article here from Access Wire dated May the 20th, 2021. This was the main catalyst for yesterday's stock market price increase for American Battery Metals, and the headline here we can see is that American Battery Metals Corporation files application to list on the NASDAQ stock market. So this is another thing that as investors that we have been waiting for a long time. What you do have to bear in mind that this, although this has been announced, it's not going to be a quick thing to happen. It's going to take time. We have seen that with ticker symbol ALPP. They announced NASDAQ uplisting in close to the end of 2020, and as we can see, it's still not happened. So it's still going to take time. I anticipate it could take probably more than 3 months. I'm not sure exactly what the dates are. However, for most people, I believe, who hold this stock, who are long-term investors, this is nothing to worry about. This is good news. The general overall momentum long-term for this stock is now going to be much more positive. And this announcement of NASDAQ listing also gives us more confidence in the stock. So let's have a look at some of the other catalysts now for ticker symbol ABML. Okay, so a lot of investors are thinking, well, you know, the news on ABML is quite slow. So what I decided to look at is the news summary page on the ticker symbol American Battery Metals website, and this is just a snapshot for 1 month. So we can see the summary of news starting from April 29th all the way to May the 20th. There does seem to be continuous announcements of breaking news. So if we look at April the 29th, they've submitted 3 new permit applications. There was a big issue we had with Spruce Management, who denied this application had any substance. Again, good news is that was proved wrong. That application, since then, we have seen that has been approved. So we can see there, May the 3rd, American Battery Metals Corporation are going to present at the Wall Street Conference, May the 5th. May the 6th, they've entered into a contract to purchase 8 acres of land in Sparks, Nevada. So what you have to understand with this stock is, yes, it is not generating revenue, but it's a long-term play. There's a long-term potential is huge. The long-term market for EV is the future, and American Battery Metals are in the right place. So continuing on with that, we've got April, May the 13th, unanimous approval from Fernley. So I'm sure Spruce management will be happy about that. And right up to the current breaking news, which is the application to list on the NASDAQ. Okay, so what I'd like to share with you now is a tweet from the White House. So when I say this is a tweet from a White House, this is a tweet from the Biden administration. And what we can see here is they've tweeted here that the future of the auto industry is electric and it's made in America. The Americans' jobs plan is the investment we need in job training and R&D, research and development, to win the future of the electric vehicle market. So what this is summarizing, it's giving us as a clue as investors, and it's giving everybody a clue as a potential investor what the future is. So they have stated that the future is electric. They've stated that the future is EV. Going forward, all EVs are going to need battery technology. American Battery Metals is American based. So that gives it the advantage of having the benefit of getting more US government grants. The more US government grants it gets, the more advantages it has compared to other lithium and EV providers in China and Chile and elsewhere, because it's the only one that can get that government support. Okay, so next thing I'd like to do is just have a quick reminder of some of the key catalysts. The key catalysts are American Battery Metals. If we look at the screen here, they have recycling systems that let consumers and electric vehicle makers separate and recover individual elements of discarded batteries from end-of-life consumer electronics, stationary storage applications, as well as from battery swaps. So the benefit here in terms of the environment is immense. Going forward, this is exactly what people are looking for: more recycling, more help towards the environment. In terms of recycling the batteries, this is something very, very positive, and it's what is needed. So recycled metal is refined as battery grade specs. It's resold in the supply chain in a closed loop process. So I'm sure nobody is against recycling. So the team developed a clean energy platform for heavy metal production, allowing the company to manufacture electrically powered EVs, grid storage systems, consumer electronics, power tools more efficiently. So what that indicates to me is not only is there going to be potential for batteries in the EV sector, but possibly batteries for laptops, for mobile phones, the power tools. So going forward, the future and the potential is huge. So by creating a carbon cycle for battery metals, they promote an ethical and sustainable source of critical materials. So this is opposite to the news that we had yesterday with regard to Bitcoin. Bitcoin requires a lot of energy use, a lot of electricity. If we look at some of the statistics that I saw, the amount of energy used just for Bitcoin is more than is used in the whole of some of countries combined. So American Battery Metals does not have that negative factor to it. And finally, I'm sure you're all aware of the final point that has been mentioned a few times on this channel, and that is the employees and the staff that work with American Battery Metals. And I believe that is a key strength, as many employees are former Tesla employees, and including some of the top 1% employees that have been featured on the channel previously. Okay, so the final thing I'd like to provide and share with you for the benefit of the investors, and I think I'd also like to share this for Spruce management to make them aware of what's going on as well next time, in case they want to short this stock. And this is looking at analysis of the recently released balance sheet for American Battery Metals. Remember, we don't have profit and loss account statements yet. That is going to be a future huge catalyst, so we still have that to come. But the red arrows represent June 30th, 2020. The green arrows represent May the 31st, 2021. So three key headlines I'd like to share with you on this balance sheet. The first one at the very top is looking at the current assets. So in terms of the current assets, what we're going to look at here is June the 30th, they just had just in excess of $1 million. So that's looking at cash and prepaid expenses. Right now, March 31st, the latest announced release figures, they have well in excess of $7 million. So I'm sure you can work out in terms of what that means. That means is the company is now becoming very cash rich. Second thing I'd like to share with you is the total assets in terms of not only cash, but also investments in joint ventures, property, equipment, land, and also intangible assets. Intangible assets basically means, you know, it could be things like patents, it could be things like image rights, etc., goodwill. Just the name itself is now getting much more recognized. So the valuation of intangible assets has just been valued on the balance sheet here as in excess of 800,000. June the 30th, they did not have any registered intangible assets. So let's have a look at the overall change in total assets. So June 30th, just over $1 million. Right now, the latest release figures, well in excess of $9 million. So again, that gives the company a very solid foundation to invest, to produce, to convert the land into revenue generating operations. And the company is certainly not at risk of bankruptcy. It's not at risk of not being able to pay any debts. So two strong headlines here. And the last one I'd like to share you with at the very bottom is the liabilities. So June the 30th, they had debt in excess of $6 million. So this was a lot of debt. The company, you could say, was at risk. They were at risk of failure. They were at risk of bankruptcy. They were at risk of not being successful. And if you look at the share price, it would have been less than 10 cents. June the 30th. I'm not sure exactly what the price was at June the 30th, but I'm sure you can check that, and I would predict it would be less than or close to 10 cents. Right now, March 31st, 2021, we can see the total liabilities have dropped from well in excess of 6 million, just over $1 million. So liabilities basically is referring to the loans and the debt that is repaid. So a very small figure there, which is also positive for us investors and also positive for the business itself. Okay, so finally, just to finish off, let's have a look at the chart again. We can see close of play, previous day's trading at time of filming, it was at $1.76. So what I'd like to share with you now is some of my price targets for this stock going forward. So in my personal opinion, I believe in 1 year's time, this stock will be between $4 and $6. So we're looking at June 2022. So I believe this stock will be between $4 and $6. And again, those of you who will know me, some of my predictions are on the conservative side. So just being on the conservative side, I believe this will be between $4 and $6. So in 3 years' time, so let's look at June 2022. I believe this stock will be between $10 to $15. So that's in 3 years' time. And again, that's a conservative estimate. In 5 years' time, so if we say June 2026, June 2027, I believe this will be a $50 plus stock. So it could be any figure, but certainly if everything is successful, everything goes well, the revenue generation continues, the markets open up, I believe in 5 years' time, this stock could be well in excess of $50. So again, just a personal opinion, it's not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. But certainly anybody who is holding this, I believe that this is one of the best stocks going forward. It certainly is a penny stock right now for a long-term hold. Okay, so it's now time for lesson of the day, and today's lesson of the day is continuation of chart analysis. So today we're also going to look at something called the double top. So let's have a look. Before we look at the double top, let's have a look at what this means. So this is a flag stock chart pattern forming through a rectangle. The rectangle develops from two trend lines which form the support and resistance until the price breaks out. The flag will have sloping trend lines, and the slope should move in the opposite direction to the original price movement. Once the price breaks through either support or resistance, this will create a buy or sell signal. So what we're seeing here is this is more of a bearish indication of breakout. So on the left we can see what people may be kind of falsely believing is a strong upward trend, and this could lead to people buying. The green line there represents the share price, and we see the horizontal flat line there, which is representing the triangle that at the top, as the share price peaks, it comes down, and this forms the double top. Then it goes back up, the second double top. So this double top would be the ideal place to sell. So if you can sell at this, if you see an indication like this, again, depending on the stock that you're holding, certainly if it's a risky penny stock that you're trading for the short term, so that would be something where you would consider selling at the double top. And then as it comes down for a second time, the red circle there, which represents breakout, this is normally a bearish trend, and this would indicate again another good opportunity to sell here before there is a significant breakout downwards. So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for joining me. Please stay tuned.